Earlier this morning, U.S. Central Command successfully anchored the temporary pier to the beach in Gaza with the help of IDF engineers and without any U.S. boots on the ground in Gaza. This group of IDF engineers were specially trained for this mission by U.S. Army engineers in the preceding weeks on a beach in Israel, and again, I'll reiterate that there were no U.S. boots on the ground. The establishment of the Trident Pier has been coordinated to support USAID's and the UN's effort to deliver and distribute aid. In the coming days, aid will be offloaded from the ships at a floating roll-on, roll-off distribution facility, ferried to this Trident Pier, and then driven to the shore in Gaza, where USAID and the UN will manage the distribution. The purpose of this temporary pier is to deliver critical humanitarian assistance to the Palestinian people. The pier is temporary and not meant to replace land routes into Gaza. And last, this is an internationally backed effort coordinated with the United Nations. The U.S. military is merely providing the logistical support to enable humanitarian aid to flow into Gaza from the sea. For weeks, we have been working side by side with the USAID team, the Cypriots, the Israelis, and the United Nations to increase the flow of humanitarian assistance into Gaza. Today, we have hundreds of tons of aid ready for delivery and thousands of tons of aid in the pipeline. Some of this aid has already been loaded onto motor vessel Roy P. Benavides, which is currently off the coast of Gaza. To emphasize again, this is a mission to get humanitarian aid into Gaza, and an attack on those dedicated to this mission would jeopardize the life-saving aid needed for the Palestinian people.
Any long-term military Israeli rule of Gaza? Is that something he has brought up with the Secretary in the many conversations that we
Since April 5th, more than 7,000 trucks have been moved into Gaza, so that is an update. Yesterday, nearly 250 trucks moved into Gaza, both via Kerem Shalom, so that is open, so that is important, as you all know, in southern Gaza, and a new crossing, Erez West, in northern Gaza. So we have seen trucks go in, and I think that's important to note, and that's because of the president's push and relationship with the prime minister, and insisting and pushing and saying we need to get more aid into Gaza because we know how dire the humanitarian situation is. However, with saying all of that, we remain concerned about ongoing limited operations at the Rafah boarding crossing and also the Erez crossing. I know I just mentioned that's a new crossing, but we want to get more in, as well as the ability of humanitarian partners to move within Gaza to deliver assistance and fuel to the vulnerable people who need it. So this level of aid remains insufficient, and we want to continue to press Israel to increase the level of assistance moving into Gaza. We understand what I just laid out is not sufficient. We want to get more in. We are continuing to have those conversations with Israel, and we have seen some progress. We need to get more in. And so the president is committed to that, and that's what you have seen from this president. That's what I will speak to. So as you know, the pier is in place, which is very important. It'll be operational in upcoming days. So that's important. And obviously the Department of Defense will have more specifics on that. And so we're confident that we're going to be able to distribute this type of aid to get that in to Gaza. And so we continue to have conversations with the UN and the Israelis and also NGOs to ensure humanitarian workers are protected, and we continue to get that aid in. You heard from the National Security Advisor just days ago speak from this lectern to say that we are trying to do everything that we can from air, sea, and land to get that humanitarian aid in. We understand how critical that is to get done, and so this pier is now in place, and up next couple of days, coming days, we'll get that moving, and that is one way, obviously, we're going to get that fuel in, get the aid in.